All right, guys, the modern Fule lead pencil. I picked one up. I picked one up in titanium, and I got the titanium plug, and you can see I've been dotting it, and that was me testing it. I've had this pencil for about 3 days, and I've been writing with it, and it's a really nice writing pencil. It's very comfortable. I like it a lot. I don't really mind the fact that the clip looks cheap. It does look cheap and cheesy for what this is. I mean, they could have put a titanium clip on this pencil for what it cost on the price point standpoint. There's a lot of innovative design in this pencil with the whole retractable tip and the fact that it has the plug, which is cool. When you run out of your erasers, you can just put the plug in there. But I will say this much: this tip is not the greatest tip in the world. Yes, it's innovative, and yes, it does retract, but there's a downside to this. If you've used the pencil and you have any kind of lead retracted, see how there's a little bit of lead sticking out there? The tip will not go in. The lead keeps the tip out. So if you were to drop this pencil in the middle of writing with it and putting it down and making a correction with an eraser, or doing whatever you're doing with a ruler or a protractor, or doing any kind of something where you put your pencil down for a second and this happens to roll off the table, or it happens to fall on the floor, or if it happens to slip out of your hand, it's going to break. The only way it retracts is if you push this button in, put pressure down, and let go, and then it goes in. It will go in if you take your thumb and with your fingernail and you push down around the lead. It will go in, but unfortunately, if there's lead out, the force of the drop is probably going to bend it before it retracts in. It's going to break the lead as it hits the ground and probably bend the tip before it actually retracts in. I could be wrong. It might go in, but I think the lead is stopping it from going in because the cone is around the lead, and when it hits, the lead will break, but also I think the cone will get bent before it retracts. I don't know why they didn't follow suit with all these other companies where everybody's putting cones on their front of their lead pencil, because it just takes all that away. You can drop this, it's not going to get ruined. You can drop this, it's not going to get ruined. This will still get ruined if it drops. So I don't know why they just didn't follow suit with all these other companies for what the price point of this titanium pencil is coming in at, and all the thought that they put into this. I think there's a lot of thought put into this pencil. There is. The construction is pretty impressive. Inside this pencil is pretty impressive, but the retractable head is kind of obsolete and kind of minute at this point in time when you've got other pencils with cones on them. I think they should have just put a cone on here and just been done with it. It would have made the pencil, in my opinion, 100% better versus this collapsible tip that can still possibly break if you drop it. It's still possibly. You can retract it all the way in because they give you a tool, an Allen hex, and you supposedly can adjust that tip, and you can bring it all the way in to where it's like very little sticking out when you retract it, like very small amounts of it sticking out. I think you can rotate it in and take all that length out, which would probably make a difference and probably save the pencil. But at the same time, if you do that, then you leave the tip bare to where the tip is exposed, and it's easier to break because it doesn't have the support from the tip of the pencil. So now it doesn't have the support. If you bear down on this, it's going to break. Versus the cone gives it support. You can have the lead sticking out just enough because that cone is supporting the lead, so it's not going to break when you write with it. So the design has its ups and downs, but other than the fact that I still like the pencil, don't get me wrong. I just think that they could have, for what they say they did with this pen and all the innovation that they put into it, they should have just put a freaking cone on there and called it a day. instead of worrying about this retractable tip, because I think in the greater schemes of things, if there's just a little bit of lead out causing that tip not to fold in because the lead's in the way, there's a chance it's gonna break or get bent, and then you'd have to take this whole insert, send it back, and get another one. So I don't, and it is replaceable, but at the same time, you shouldn't have to go through that. It's kind of a pain in the butt. That means your pencil's out of commission as long as it takes for you to send it in and get it back. Where this kind of just takes all that away. We've got two different companies here, and both of them decided to go with the cone design. You know, these are stainless or aluminum alloys. This is a full titanium lead pencil in itself, but you got two different companies here, and both of them made the smart choice to just go with the cone and call it a day and not ever have to worry about the whole tip issue ever again. But if we get past the tip, it's still a great writing pencil, and it's very stylish. It looks nice. It's impressive looking. It feels impressive. The titanium version, it feels good in the hand, and I like the pencil a lot. I just don't like the tip. But there you go. That's Modern Fule, the titanium mechanical pencil. And that's just going to be in my opinions of it. I like it, but I think they should have went with a more modern cone tip. And that's going to be it, guys. Take it easy.